Section 30 of Library of the World's Best Literature, Ancient and Modern, Volume 2. This is a Librivox recording. All the Librivox recordings are in the public domain. For more information, or to volunteer, please visit librivox.org. Recording by Martin Gladwell. Library of the World's Best Literature, Ancient and Modern, Volume 2. Section 30. The Caliph Omar bin Abdul-Aziz and the Poets. From the Arabian Nights, translated by Sir Richard Burton. The Caliph Omar bin Abdul-Aziz and the Poets. A semi-poetical tale. Translation of Sir Richard Burton in Supplemental Nights to the Book of the Thousand Nights and a Night. It is said that when the Caliphate devolved on Omar bin Abdul-Aziz, of whom Allah accept, the poets resorted to him as they had been used to resort to the Caliphs before him, and abode at his door days and days. But he suffered them not to enter till there came to him Addy bin Arta, who stood high in esteem with him. Jeriah, another poet, accosted him and begged him to crave admission for them to the presence. So Addy answered, "'Tis well," and going into Omar said to him, "The poets are at thy door, and have been there days and days. Yet hast thou not given them leave to enter, albeit their sayings abide, and their arrows from the mark never fly wide." Quoth Omar, "What have I to do with the poets?" And quoth Addy, "O Commander of the Faithful, the Prophet Abhak was praised by a poet and gave him largesse, and in him is an exemplar to every Moslem." Quoth Omar, "And who praised him?" And quoth Addy, "Abbas bin Mirdas praised him, and he clad him with a suit and said, 'O generosity! Cut off from me his tongue.'" Asked the Caliph, "Dost thou remember what he said?" And Addy answered, "Yes." Rejoined Omar, "Then repeat it." So Addy repeated, "I saw thee, O thou best of the human race, bring out a book which brought to graceless grace. Thou showedst righteous road to men astray. From right, when darkest wrong had ta'en its place, thou with Islam didst light the gloomiest way, quenching with proof life coals of frowardness. I own for prophet my Mohammed's self, and men's award upon his word we base. Thou madest straight the path that crooked ran, where in old days foul growth o'ergrew its face. Exalt be thou in joys empyrean, and Allah's glory ever grow apace." And indeed, continued Addy, this elegy on the Prophet Abhak is well known, and to comment on it would be tedious. Quoth Omar, "Who of the poets is at the door?" And quoth Addy, "Among them is Omar ibn Arabiya the Qurashi." Whereupon the Caliph cried, "May Allah show him no favour, neither quicken him! Was it not he who spoke impiously in praising his love? Could I in my clay bed, the grave, with Yau-Man repose, there to me were better than heaven or hell." Had he not, continued the Caliph, been the enemy of Allah, he had wished for her in this world, so that he might after repent and return to righteous dealing. By Allah, he shall not come in to me. Who is at the door other than he? Quoth Addy, "Jamil bin Mama al-Uzri is at the door." And quoth Omar, "'Tis he who saith in one of his love elegies, 'Would heaven conjoint we lived, and if I die, death only grant me a grave within her grave. for I'd no longer deign to live my life, if told, upon her head is laid the pave. Quoth Omar, Away with him from me! Who is at the door? And quoth Addy, Kutahir Azza. Whereupon Omar cried, 'Tis he who saith in one of his impious odes, Some talk of faith and creed and nothing else, and wait for pains of hell in prayer seat. But did they hear what I from Azza heard, they'd make prostration fearful at her feet. Leave the mention of him. Who is at the door? Quoth Addy, Al-Awas al-Ansari. Cried Omar, Allah Almighty, put him away, and estrange him from his mercy. Is it not he who said, berhyming on a Medinite's slave girl, so that she might outlive her master, Allah be judge betwixt me and her Lord, whoever flies with her, and I pursue. He shall not come into me. Who is at the door other than he? Addy replied, Hammam bin Gharib al-Farazdak. And Omar said, 'Tis he who glories in wickedness. He shall not come into me. Who is at the door other than he? Addy replied, Al-Akhtal al-Taglibi. And Omar said, He is the godless miscreant who saith in his singing, Ramazan I ne'er fasted in lifetime, nay, I ate flesh in public at Undern day, nor chid I the fair, save in word of love, nor seek Mecca's plain in salvation way, nor stand I praying like rest who cry high salvation words at the dawn's first ray. By Allah, he treadeth no carpet of mine. Who is at the door other than he? Said Addy, Jeriah ibn al-Katafa. And Omar cried, 'Tis he who saith, But for ill-spying glances had our eyes espied, eyes of the antelope, and ringlets of the reams, a huntress of the eyes by night time came, and I cried, Turn in peace, no time for visit this, meseems. But if it must be, and no help, admit Jeriah. So Addy went forth and admitted Jeriah, who entered, saying, Yea, he who sent Mohammed unto men, a just successor of Islam assigned. His ruth and his justice all mankind embrace, to daunt the bad and stablish well designed. Verily now I look to present good, for man hath ever transient weal in mind. Quoth Omar, O Jeriah, keep the fear of Allah before thine eyes, and say naught save the sooth. And Jeriah recited these couplets. How many widows loose the hair in far Yamama land, how many an orphan there abides, feeble of voice and eye, since faredst thou, who wast to them instead of father lost, when they like nestled fledglings were, sans power to creep or fly. And now we hope, since broke the clouds their word and troth with us, hope from the Caliph's grace to gain a rain that ne'er shall dry. When the Caliph heard this, he said, By Allah, O Jeriah, Omar possesseth but 100 dirhams. Ho, boy, do thou give them to him. Moreover, he gifted Jeriah with the ornaments of his sword, and Jeriah went forth to the other poets, who asked him, What is behind thee? What is thy news? And he answered, A man who giveth to the poor, and who denieth the poets, and with him I am well pleased. End of section 30. Recording by Martin Gladwell.